All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream, the State of the Padawans. So, thank you all for coming. And I am glad you're here. First, I'm going to click over and make sure that it's actually going to go live because every now and then it gets a little bit wonky. Looks like we're good. So, thank you all for being here. I'm Steve, K5ATA. And tonight is a little different. It's what I call the State of the Padawans. Chris, Digital Analog Ham, was saying he didn't understand what the title meant. So for those of you who are across the pond or somewhere different, here in the States, the president gives his annual State of the Union address where he kind of says, supposedly, how the country is looking and whatnot. So this is my take on it, being that it's getting close to the end of the year, and it's definitely a time to be thankful between, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I figured I was going to give my State of the Padawans. So, go ahead and get some of the obligatory stuff out of the way. If y'all would, hit that subscribe button below. It really does help the channel out. That like button helps us out as well. Want some Good Game Ham Radio merch and whatnot? There's a link down below for that. An Amazon affiliate link if you want to buy anything through Amazon. Doesn't cost you anything extra. It just kind of helps the channel out, which in turn helps the Padawans out. And Patreon down below as well. And there's channel memberships. I keep forgetting to say that because I just keep forgetting. But, Jim, KN4YCD, popped in and he reminded me because I see the little green icon next to him. So feel free to hit that below as well. Like I've said, most of the money after YouTube scrapes their bit off the top goes directly to help support the Padawans. And for those of you who don't know, the Padawans are what I call the students at my school, where I'm teaching ham radio to some kiddos. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you give me a second to kind of sort of swap some things around here. I'm going to shrink myself because this is not about me, it's about them. So, State of the Union, or State of the Padawans. First of all, I'm going to start out with just some of the facts. So, in the last year, we have had 28 students earn their technician license. One student upgraded to general. 3 staff members earned their tech license. 1 staff member upgraded to general. And there are currently 24 kids, or Padawans, I should say, studying for their technician license now. So, the State of the Padawans is definitely going, and the club is definitely growing. So we're going to throw out some thank yous. And the way this is going to kind of sort of work is it's in no particular order. It's just going to scroll through a whole bunch of y'all. And I'm just going to be honest, there's no way I could do what I'm doing with the Padawans without all y'all. So, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I've got the Death Wish coffee today in honor of that. But hang on, I need a drink of that. But I just kind of want to show you some of, what the Padawans have got going for them. And more importantly, I want to throw a shout out to the people who have helped us get to where we are. First off, I wanted to thank our local club. A lot of times you hear people talk about local clubs and how they're not very accepting of new people, this and that and the other. And I'm just going to take my hat off to the University of Mississippi Amateur Radio Club because that is our local club. And Steve, bruh, thank you, man. I do appreciate that. Joined up on the extra. But the University of Mississippi Amateur Radio Club, we're a Laurel VEC affiliated club. And not only did they administer all of the testing for my kiddos in the last year, they actually came to my campus to do it. So the Padawans didn't have to go anywhere. They didn't have to go out in the evening or anything. They got up bright and early in the morning, and when the bell rang at 7:50 in the morning, they were there ready to roll. And to Laurel VEC, because everything through Laurel is free to the person taking the test. And so I wanted to make sure I took a minute to say thank you to them. So, to all the folks over at the University of Mississippi Amateur Radio Club and the Laurel VEC, thank you. It means a lot. So, next up, when the Stromboli hit the fan, the pandemic last year, I still had kids ready to take a test. And we were no longer able to administer tests in person. And so I wanted to throw a little shout out to Glarg. And Glarg stepped up and they reached out to me and said, hey, you've still got Padawans that are ready to test. And they tested my Padawans completely free of charge. So if you're looking for a test, looking for my coffee, if you were looking for, to take a test and there's not a club around you, you're ready to go, sooner than the club near you is ready to test, I'm just going to encourage you, give the online option a chance, because it was a good experience for those folks that took the test there, and thank you to them for reaching out and for taking care of that for me. So I do appreciate that. I am going to take a minute and scroll back and see who all's in the house here, because I kind of skipped that. I was a little bit excited about tonight. So Cram, I have a feeling Cram is a Padawan. Alan, AB8AS, good evening, Steve. Andy Callie's in the house. Don Nuggets here. Don Gibbs. Chris, Digital Analog Ham. And guys, anybody who's in here and you see one of these folks that have a weird name like that Smoking Ape dude, odds are they've got a YouTube channel. So, when this stream's over, or, hold control or command, whichever version of computer you've got, click that and make sure you give them a sub as well, because, it kind of helps drive the algorithm and whatnot. Andy Callie's in the house. Jason, W5IPA, greetings. No, Jim, Padme's not here, I'm sorry. Andy, I think I'm caught up with everybody in here. Anime's here. Sam's here. Good to see you, Sam. Sam with that new call sign he's sporting there. I've already forgotten your old one, but there you are. And W5WRP's in the house. He's actually one of the staff. He's the staff member I mentioned earlier that actually upgraded. So it says William. I don't know why he's going by William. He's Curtis. But welcome, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. So there are simply too many people to name, and I'm going to do it anyway. So you're going to have to sit through a few slides of me just reading names, because y'all are kind of awesome like that. So for all the people that, through YouTube Super Chats and channel memberships and, financial support and whatnot to help the Padawans and get equipment and stuff like that, I appreciate it. And here we go. I'm going to start reading some names here, because there's a few of them. WJ6F, Craig Steele, KE0TEV, The Smoking Ape. Don, N5SKT, Philip Muth, 86DM Dennis. I'll go ahead and tell you, if you have not listened to 86DM Dennis's podcast, you definitely need to check it out. It's called Hamdom Thoughts. Andy Callie. Oh, Steve, I got a typo on Steve's K04 AFL. Oklahoma Ham Radio. Bill Crow, Mike Smith, temporarily offline. Norman James. Yeah, I had to steal that. Mike K8MRD. Don Izzo, W1FYG, if I remember correctly. Randall Hensley, Joseph Collins, Adam K6ARK. Adam also has a channel where he's got a YouTube channel out there, and he does a whole heck of a lot for the Padawans, guys. You'll see some of that later. But more importantly, he's kind of earned a certain degree of fame with a couple of in fact, Curtis's kids, that, Walter and Alan, because Adam is the first person, I believe, that Walter ever talked to on the radio, and he just thought it was cool that he was climbing mountains talking on the radio, so that's awesome. Tim Nugget, yes, Nugget, I know that's not your last name, but it is now. Jim, KN4YCD, Ham Radio Dude, another YouTube channel. Make sure you go check that out. Red Summit RF, and that's Charlie. And Charlie, I don't know if you're in here tonight or not. Jim, thank you for that super chat, man. I do appreciate that. But Jim and N1CLC, they, I dropped a message earlier. We have a Discord group where we kind of, talk as YouTube people and whatnot, saying, hey, I got a kid that wants to get on the radio, and Charlie and N1CLC, they both jumped on there, and they were on the radio. So Alan got to make his first voice contacts. That was pretty awesome. So, Ham Radio 2.0. Most of y'all probably already know Jason's channel, but if not, hop over there and sub him as well. Mike Smith, G0RFD, Kyle Craig. Kyle also has a YouTube channel. He's AA0Z. Josh Nass of, everybody kind of knows Josh, Ham Radio Crash Course. And, oh, look, I got another typo. My bad, Evan. Evan is not 28 KJR, it's K8JKR. Or is it Whiskey HKJ? I have to look that up. Don DeGidio. I know I'm going to mess it up, Don. I do every time. But WJ3U. Oh, I got Izzo on there twice. My bad, Izzo. Or my good, because Izzo does a bunch for the Padawans. Eric Ramirez, KI7WJP. Glenn Strecker, KG5CEN. Brad Brazel. And Brad's actually a local fella that helps out with the Padawans and stuff, getting some gear and lets me borrow stuff to, mess around with stuff. Rob N1NUG, I'm not even going to try to say your last name, Rob, but Rob also has a YouTube channel. It's the 741 YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. Ray Novak, N9JA. Chuck Thompson, KK6USY. Carol Garvin, K5GET. Chris, also known as Digital Analog Ham in the house. And Jim Greer. Adam Melancon, Anime, N8 Vox. Kev Anderson, Brian Edwards, KM4ACK, Ham Radio 101, which has also got a channel. Right Slanted, K6UDA Bob, and Leia Nass. So those are the people who have thrown super chats and stuff for the Padawans this year, and I just wanted to say thank y'all very much. I do appreciate it, and so do the Padawans. It takes a significant amount of cash to make that stuff happen, because coax and connectors and stuff like that is not cheap, and obviously kids aren't paying for it, and I don't expect them to. If they need something, I want to be able to just kind of fab it up and make it. For example, a kiddo came by yesterday and said he can't hit the repeater, he's trying to check in. That's a good thing. I mean, he's coming to me saying, I'm trying to get on the radio and I can't make it happen. So I built him, well, actually I had an extra one that I had already built, ladder line J-pole, and so he's going to come by and pick that up tomorrow. So doesn't cost him a dime, but it gets him on the air. So that's what we're after. Also, we have a Patreon thing, and these are my patrons on Patreon. These folks, they give to the Padawans every single month, and so thank you for that. It is much appreciated. That's Dan Burak, Andy Callie, Alan Washington, Randall Hensley, Joseph Adams, which ironically I have an assistant principal named Joseph Adams, but it's not that one. Jim Greer and Richard Swartz. So guys, I appreciate your continued support of that. That's awesome, and thank you for that. All right, so some of the specific things, I'm going to go ahead and call out Josh Nass of Ham Radio Crash Course. Obviously, most of you in here, I'd be shocked if any of y'all didn't know about Josh. He has done a ton to help the Padawans out. He's had me on his show. He's had fundraisers. In fact, when I was on his stream, it ended up turning into like a fundraiser right then for it. So, and that ended up getting us a lot of different equipment that you'll see what some of that stuff is here in a few minutes. I've got some slides of some of that, but Josh, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and we are definitely in your debt. Ray Novak, N9JA. Ray works for ICOM, but Ray gave us an Alpha Antenna FMJ. And if you've not used this, I did a review on this when we had antenna night. I'm just going to tell you, this antenna is awesome. The kids can go out there and set it up and break it down. It only takes a couple of minutes. In fact, we had it set up today, and Curtis is in the chat here. I think it took us all of like 3 minutes to break down. So it's awesome. Mike K8MRD, he's got a slide coming up later too. But yeah, that Alpha antenna, that's awesome. So Ray, thank you for that. The having a nice, easy way to get on the air quickly for the Padawans is awesome. So thank you. Every now and then I just get little boxes in the mail. Somebody just tosses an HT in a box or whatever. But Adam K6ARK sent a box of, I want to say it was like 10. I don't even remember. It was a bunch of these Baofeng, what's it, the UV8R, I think is what it is. And every now and then I just get a box with, one or two UV5Rs. And, I just want to say I appreciate that, because when a kid gets their license, I want to have a radio to hand them. And, I'll be the first to tell you, the Fang is not my favorite radio in the world. But it's cool to be able to have something that I can hand them. They can go get on the air, and if something does get messed up on it, it's not a huge expense. It's a good way for them to learn, how to get on a radio, how to hopefully take care of it, and if it does end up dying, it's not a huge deal. So, Britt is our club president, and so and he's saying that thank you for the shout out. Actually, no, Britt, that thank you goes the other way. Thank you for all you guys do to help the Padawans. It is much appreciated. Um, ICOM has done more than you know to, and is doing more than you know to help the Padawans, and I appreciate it. Specifically on this one, they provided a 7300 for an incredibly low price for the Padawan station. Um, it goes up there. The kids use it all the time. It's an amazing radio. So I just want to say, ICOM. I know, well, Ray might watch it, but I'm not sure how many other people at ICOM watch. But if you are, thank you for that. It's awesome to have a modern radio that is honestly that easy to use. In fact, Curtis's son Walter, when he first came out, and that's the first radio he ever used, was at a POD activation, and he was able to figure out the menu pretty quickly. He was running the radio in no time. So, a lot of folks have their favorite radios and whatnot, but I'm just going to tell you, this is a fantastic. Oh, look, Abe just said the same thing. This is a fantastic radio. So, ICOM, thank you for that. It is much appreciated. MFJ Enterprises. MFJ, I know MFJ, a lot of people, you either kind of love or hate MFJ, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I love MFJ. I would tell you, well, I can't even list all the stuff MFJ sends for Padawans to get to use and whatnot. So they sent this power supply. They're sending me a bunch of power poles to get stuff done. They're just they're awesome. So I would tell you, if you're looking to buy something that MFJ sells and somebody else sells, consider giving them your business. They do a lot, and honestly, they ask very little in return. It's just, whoops, I didn't mean to go there. So thank you for that. Bioenno. Now, we do POTA stuff. Well, I haven't gotten to do it yet with the Padawans because of the wonderful pandemic when the Stromboli hit the fan. I'm kind of not allowed to meet with them after school and whatnot. But what had happened here was I ordered a battery. I think it was a 12 amp hour battery from Bioenno, and within 45 minutes, Bioenno emailed me and said, "Hey, that's awesome. You're buying this for Padawans." I had contacted him because I was trying to do a tax-free thing with it because it was for school and whatnot. And he said, would you want to have the 40 amp hour instead? And my name's not Adam K6ARK, so I'm not climbing a mountain with this thing on my back. So I was like, yes, absolutely, I would love to have that. And so they did. They sent out that 40 amp hour battery, and that thing will run for a hot minute. I mean, it goes. So Bioenno, if you're looking for a battery, I'm just gonna say that they're awesome folks there. So, a few little specific things. In fact, I have the one I took a picture of right here. If you did not see the build that we did of this on Josh's channel, but Adam is sending a bunch of it just left me, the little Cricket radios for them to build. And then on Josh's channel, when we had that live stream that turned into a fundraiser kind of thing, I got a box full of these. Now you can't really see it behind the green screen, but it is what it is. But you can see the picture there. And we did a build in these on Josh's channel, and these are awesome little kits. And so we built it, and as soon as we get back to some semblance of a normal schedule with the Padawans, we're gonna start doing some of these builds. So this is awesome, and there's a box of these. I think there's 11 because I built one. There are 11 of them in there, if I remember correctly. So Josh, Adam, and everybody who gave. I don't have all the names of everybody who gave in Josh's live stream that night. So, if you did, thank you for that. It is much appreciated. So, that's just another project that the kids are going to get to do. So yeah, it's pretty hefty on the weight, Mike. It's not a lightweight battery, that 40 amp hour, but it'll run well. I can do a multi-day POTA activation with and it doesn't ever die. So, Jason KC5HWE or HWB, sorry, Ham Radio 2.0. He's sending coax, and it's a lot of times just those little things that people don't think about. I mean, obviously when I started, I was like, oh well, they need to have a radio, they need to have this, they need to have that, but they need coax and they need connectors and stuff like that. I mean, if I'm gonna have them build ladder line J poles, I've got to have ladder line, I've got to have coax, I've got to have connectors. So that's a lot of times people are like, well, I can't give a radio or whatever, but the stuff that the everyday stuff that hams use up, coax is one of those things. In fact, excuse me, my wife was saying the other day, she's like, what are you running out of? And I was like, coax. I'm constantly running out of coax, because well, you use it for everything. So yeah, Mike says the G90 it gets nice and hot. It does. That sucker gets warm. So it's when Jarek and I first started using her G90 on a POTA activation, when we were breaking it down, I actually touched it. I mean, it was hot. It was toasty. You could probably grill a little something if you like your steak rare anyway. And yeah, T.O., you're right. Every little bit helps. So, don't ever think, and I'm not just saying that for my channel. And I mean, if you've got a local school where somebody's trying to run a club or something like that, hey, swing by there and get, toss them some coax or something like that, because they need it. I promise you, they can use it. T.O., I don't really have an Amazon wish list. I guess I could build one. Somebody's mentioned it before, and I just haven't put one together because I don't know. But no, I don't. Sorry. Another thank you, Steve McGrain. That's Mr. Temporary Offline in there, and the Toads. Those are T.O.'s awesome dudettes, or dudes and dudettes, I think is what that's supposed to be there. I appreciate it. They're sending some coax and some PL259 connectors as well, because like I said, we always need that stuff. So, last year I pretty well depleted my stock of that, and so we're trying to build that back up for when this new crop of kiddos gets their license. They're going to need to build some of this stuff, and got to have the stuff on hand to build. So, T.O., thank you, bro. Izzo. Okay, now if you don't know Izzo, I don't know what rock you're hiding under, but Don Izzo, W1FYG, he does a ton for I've gotten a couple of just big boxes of just stuff, ranging from radios. I mean, he sent an ICOM 92 D-Star radio, meters and whatnot. He sent this ASDEN 2-meter radio that's going in the shack. In fact, it was supposed to get installed today, but someone forgot the power cord at home, so it'll have to wait till tomorrow. But Izzo, thank you. It's not just me that's appreciative of you. I know all of the YouTubers are appreciative of you. So thank you for that. And if y'all watch the POTA Spots page, you can work Izzo, because he's out there. Soldering stations. Now, I've actually gotten, somebody sent me a soldering station. I have no idea who it was. Like I said, sometimes I just get the random box that shows up. But I know that Josh KI6NAZ sent one, Chuck KK6USY, and Adam K6ARK. As far as who that other one is, I don't know. Amazon stuff shows up and there's no note in there. So, I don't know who you are, but thank you. It is much appreciated, because the ability to have an actual soldering station instead of just, I don't have one of them here, the cheap little, dollar store soldering irons that take 27 minutes to warm up, is amazing. I mean, they can turn it on and be soldering in minutes. So thank you for that. So Same thing with the Abri antennas. I had a couple of these just show up in an Amazon box one day. I have no idea who they're from. Like I said, there's no note in the box, and Amazon, it just says from Amazon, so I can't even try to track you down by what state you're in. It's like trying to track the ape. Everybody knows he's in Nebraska, but is he really in Nebraska? But like I said, there are no markings on it at all. But I've got a couple of Brie antennas that somebody sent, and I wish I thought of that when Casey, or that student, walked in and was looking for a longer antenna to try to hit the repeater. I'm going to send him with one of those tomorrow as well. So, thank you for that, whoever that is. It's much appreciated. All right, so Izzo says he's going out possibly Sunday or Monday, depending on the weather, and the following Saturday or Sunday. So, y'all make sure that you look for him on the POTA Spots page. He's got, I don't know, half a dozen kilo awards or something. When it comes to the POTA world, he's kind of a legend. And Ape is going to move to Florida or maybe Oregon. I can see why you would be tossed between those two because the climates are so similar. So, sorry, I needed some of that death wish there. Florigona. Again, MFJ. MFJ, I actually called Stubbs down there at MFJ, and I actually shot him an email and said, hey, what have y'all got for, I'm trying to teach the Padawan soldering, this and that and the other. And next thing you know, I've got a box of these kits. So, it's a step-by-step instruction on how to solder. It teaches them basics of resistors and, basic electronics and stuff like that. So, again, MFJ does a ton for the Padawans. So, just like I said, if you're looking to get something for your shack or something, consider throwing MFJ your business because they're cool folks. I've sat with Martin down there for over an hour just chatting, and he is just a great down-to-earth dude. So, just take that for what it's worth. But I know that anytime somebody says, hey, who should I look at for an antenna, mobile antenna, whatever, I always say, go check out MFJ because, pay it forward kind of. The ARRL. The ARRL provides a educator discount. So a lot of people don't know that. So if you are out teaching school or something like that, or you have a friend that's trying to do a club or something like that, or you're teaching licensing classes, you can actually sign up through them as an educator, and then you get a discount. It's some stuff, it's like half price, and I mean you get you don't get everything, but you get things that you can be used or that can be used for education at a significantly reduced price. So, I know a lot of folks throw a little bit of hate at them because, well, why do they need my $40 or whatever it is? That's part of why they need that $40 because they help, folks like me get little folks on the air. So I've got no problem giving them my 40 or $50 or whatever it is every year. So I'm going to take a second and catch up in the chat because it's kind of rolling. And Chuck's here, KK6USY. I don't know if you got here in time to see your soldering stuff there, Chuck, but much appreciated. Who'd I miss? JSS 62 2000 or 672006. I don't know that I know you, JSS, but welcome. Glad you're here. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. Izzo's here. Kyle's here. Kyle, oh, no tennis tonight. Yeah, I can see why. The Corona probably canceled tennis. It's a little too close. All right. Moving. Is that it? So, yep, that doesn't seem right. I might have missed something here. Let me make sure I didn't. Yep. All right, so that's the slides of all the thank yous out there. So, like I said, this isn't going to be a terribly long stream. I just wanted to take a few minutes, shout out some thank yous to some specific folks, and basically hang out with y'all for a little while because y'all were kind of cool like that. So, again, all of y'all that have helped get and keep the Padawans on the air and get and keep the Padawans with projects and stuff like that, Thank you for that. Like I said, we are hoping that school goes back to some kind of normal schedule. I'm gonna have to fill this coffee cup back up in a minute. At some point after Christmas, at which point we'll be able to pick back up on the licensing thing. I had hoped to have the Padawans that I have right now testing for their license here in December, but the corona kind of didn't let that happen. Not because the club couldn't accommodate it. I'm sure that they would have figured out a way to do it, but because I don't have them that much. I mean, right now I get them 2 days a week. I get half of them on a Monday, Tuesday. I get the other half on a Thursday, Friday. Some weeks it's completely virtual where I don't have them in class at all. And it's just been, school has been a mess with this corona stuff. So there's no normal, you kind of don't know from day to day whether you're going to be there the next day or not. It all depends on how many cases show up. So hopefully, and Britt, I don't know if you're still in here or not, hopefully we'll have some folks ready. Well, they'll be ready. They're wrapping up. They're finishing elements 7, 8, and 9 tomorrow or next week. So at that point, it's all review. So we're going to just start reviewing, and hopefully be ready to test in January. At which point we'll have hopefully another 24 hams in town. So that'll be nice. It's going to significantly increase the membership of the club, which is a good thing. Dan Burek, I know you said you couldn't stay. You might already have bailed on us, but thank you for that. I do appreciate that super chat. And Digital Analog Ham, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And Jim, I already got you on that one, but it is much appreciated. So NW70 Sam, homeschooling leaves more time for playing radio. It does. It's on Wednesdays right now, the way it is right now is considered a virtual day at school. So the kids are home, and basically we're tasked with just kind of being up at school, and when they have questions or whatever, they email and we answer their questions or whatever. But at the same time, I get to work on ham radio projects, and Curtis in the chat, he's up there with me, and so we're chasing some POTA today. We got his oldest son on the radio today when he came at the end of the day. We left the station set up for a few minutes so that he can get on there. He was a little shy last time when we were at the POTA activation. He didn't want to get on the air, but he did it today, and that was awesome. And N1 CLC and Charlie Red Summit, they were weak. It was a hike from Arizona and California, but they did it and made his day. So appreciate that. In fact, Walter, the younger one, was walking out talking about the different special event days, and because he was on the air on Halloween. I think it was actually Halloween Day. I don't remember, but there was a World War II. Curtis, you're in here. Which one was it? It was in Missouri somewhere. Maybe it was the USS Missouri or something. I don't remember, but there was a special event station. He just thought that was cool, and so that's what he was walking out talking about is the World War II special events, and he's like, well, maybe there's a special event every day, and that's kind of what it is. If you FRS Skip has been hot. You sound like one of those coaches at school. Y'all out there in Skip land. Donald Hanson, thank you for that. Thank you very much. So that's a cool looking avatar. Is that? Looks like a Crusader. I don't know if I'm seeing that correctly. I'm kind of old and blind. Tio, I have no idea what you're referring to on the Yaesu. I'm going to have to go back up and catch up and see what they're talking about because I'm not entirely sure. So anybody in here who has questions about what the Padawans have been doing or what's on the World War I museum? Okay, so I knew he'd remember because Walter probably wore you out on the drive home or drive to Walmart because you had to go there. So, but anything y'all want to know? Let's see. I was opping a Halloween special at W3N. So, well, that's cool, Sam. You got a Padawan somewhere. So, that's what I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all is you can help, youth on the air and whatnot. without ever having to spend a dime. If you've got a radio, I'm just saying, go. You hear a kid on the air, you see it posted somewhere, something like that. Tune over and give them someone to talk to. A lot of times, that's all it really takes. Go like when Walter was on there. I mean, as soon as he started talking to folks, and he talked to that mountain climbing radio dude, he just thought that was the coolest thing. In fact, today when Charlie got on there, I was like, oh yeah, he's another mountain climbing radio dude. And Walter was like, Shaggy? So, it's different folks have different things that draw them into a hobby. And, if talk to them, let them know where you are, stuff like that, because they're always looking for folks to talk to. I would love to actually, and thank you for that digital analog ham, Chris, thank you. I would love for them to be able to get some DX to, every now and then we can hear some Europe stations and stuff like that at school. In fact, Chris, maybe we can try to work out a sked somewhere where we can see if we can't get them to do a little talk across the pond, because a lot of times that's what's going to really hook folks is, hey, all of a sudden I'm talking to somebody in England or in France or somewhere, and it gets a whole lot cooler really quick. Another thing that I'm working on with them is the FT8 and the digital modes. Getting that set up. We just got new laptops at school today. I'm thinking I'm going to try to do it on that. But that's another thing that I'm going to try to do to get some of the Padawans interested, because not everybody wants to talk on a microphone. They might want to do the digital mode where they can just talk and go with it. And so that's kind of another area we're going into. Anybody that has other ideas, feel free to throw it out there in the chat, because this always works better when it's kind of a crowdsourced kind of thing of ideas. What do we need right now? What would Jim? T.O. asked me the same question earlier, and it's right now it's coax, it's connectors, it's that basic stuff. I mean, in reality, they've got a 7300. There's, I've got a toolbox full of HTs and stuff like that, but stuff to help facilitate projects, little soldering kits and projects and coax and ladder line. Ladder line is ridiculously expensive. Like, I was shocked. I was like, holy cow, Batman. I mean, that's ladder line gets costly. But that's the kind of stuff that we're looking at now, is the little stuff. And a lot of people are like, well, what do you mean? PL259s, you can get a pack of them for $20 or something like that. But okay, $20 times, it adds up pretty quickly. And then the coax, and then the ladder line, and they're Padawans, which means it's not gonna go perfectly every time. So, in fact, last year one of the Padawans essentially ruined a huge amount of ladder line. And I didn't catch it until it was too late, but he cut them all too short. And so, I've got a stack of ladder line that I don't remember the measurement, but they're about 18 inches too short. So, yeah, my info is good on QRZ, Jim. So that would be most welcome. So, absolutely, certainly. I feel like I missed a page of. Did I get that? Yeah, I did. Okay, I felt like I had missed a page of thank yous in there. Pie is the best. I like chocolate pie myself. Anime pie computers. How can they be used for radio? Let me back up. I need to get some context there. About pie radios or pie computers? I can go ahead and tell you now. If you're looking at the Raspberry Pi thing, KM4ACK's channel, you need to head over there. He's not in here this evening, but he's when it comes to Raspberry Pi stuff, I've got a video. Several of us have a video on his script that gets everything set up for you, and it doesn't get a whole lot easier than that. Just down, plug it in, run the script, and it goes. In fact, I've got it running on that TV right there. Not that you can see it, but I can. So, Ape, can you with the extra pieces? Yeah, Ape, if you need some stuff for your GMRS antenna, I have a whole bunch of really short sections of ladder line for you, bud. What's Chuck talking about? Actually, it can have GPS. What can have GPS? I'm Confucius. Must be don't know. Okay, so trying to connect your Midland to the Pi. It'll connect. It just may not do anything. So, and Sam, yeah, I'm gonna try that. In fact, at Christmas time, I'll just start plugging wires into one of Mama's pies, and because my mother-in-law makes a good pie, and so see if that works out. So, but that's kind of where we're at. That is the state of the Padawans. If I had to sum up the state of the Padawans in in a word, it would be awesome, because it's the folks, it's y'all that help make it awesome. Don SKT, make 220 J poles, and just think, if only we had a 220 repeater, I don't know, within 100 miles. There might be one in Memphis, I don't know. If so, that's about 60 miles. But yeah, so thank y'all. A lot of y'all have given over the last year, and some of you have given a lot over the last year. And some of you have asked to stay anonymous, and I don't think I missed anybody on the list, but if I did miss anybody on the list, I apologize. But like I said, sometimes a box just shows up, and I'm not sure who it came from. So, if you're sending something, please throw your name in there for me. I mean, Amazon, I think you can click like the "it's a gift" thing or something and put your name. If you don't want me to say it online, I won't. Just say, keep it on the DL. But, it's cool to be able to put, I guess, a name to who's helping them out. So, it would be cool. So, thank you for that. Build a Midland. So, Abe's getting a little crazy in Nebraska, because there's not a lot to do in Nebraska. But so we're gonna go and wrap that up a little early tonight, because, like I said, I just kind of wanted to throw out a thank you and kind of tell you where we're at. So again, to my local club and the VEC, I mean, they took it completely in stride when all of a sudden I said, "Hey, I've got 40 or so kids that I want to get tested." I mean, it was okay. Let's do it. And completely free and everything, and that was awesome. So I appreciate it, y'all. Like I said, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit subscribe. All the merch links and all that stuff down there, it all goes to help keep the Padawan stuff running. So I'm trying to build up that stock supply of stuff for them to work on when they get their tickets and whatnot. If you aren't subscribed to any of these folks over here chatting in the chat, a bunch of them have a channel. Do that. I've got a POTA video coming out tomorrow. Thursday Night Ham Radio's tomorrow. I don't have the playlist handy, but if you head over to Temporary Offline's Twitter, he normally posts up the playlist early. That is the best way to follow Thursday Night Ham Radio. And then we've got Monday Night Ham Radio coming up too. 86DM Dennis. Hey, I was just giving you a little love earlier about your podcast, brother. So Thursday night tomorrow, Monday Night Ham Radio coming up on Monday, and that's that. So, I appreciate y'all being there. I appreciate everything that you have done for the Padawans, and I'm looking forward to another great year of it. So, y'all take care, and I hope to see you on the air.